What's up, family? Welcome back to another video. No spin, no fluff, just straight up sports talk with common sense and accountability. So, Angel Reese did something wild. She went on camera and basically erased everything she's been saying about racism and the WNBA for the last year, and she might not even realize she did it. Let's talk about it. However, before we have a conversation, I want to preface the conversation and add the full context before we have the conversation, because once we add the context, then I want to get you guys' thoughts after I let off my thoughts, so we then can have a dialogue that is conducive, let alone effective, and most importantly, positive, because we can talk about things, but they can be positive in regards of having a productive conversation, which can be conducive in this case when it comes to a sports standpoint, specifically the WNBA, to uplift the league and not tear it down, but also hold those accountable who are not making it as conducive to two things could be said at the same time. We can have a conversation that uplifts the league, so also the franchise can grow, and the WNBA in its entirety, so it gravitates and have more fans coming to enjoy the sports, aka entertainment, because sports is still entertainment, let alone the competitive nature, while both teams compete and may the best win. And then the second truth is we can hold those accountable, even those who are playing in the league that is trying to tear it down, which detours the typical sports fan from even tuning in, because the simple fact is it turns into a dramatic, chaotic gossip league rather than a competitive league that's surrounded around sports, aka entertainment, right? So now let's get into the article. It says, as it reads, Angel Reese appears to admit encounters of in-person racism were a lie. Three-time BET Sportswoman of the Year, Angel Reese says she didn't pay attention to what folks said about her online because no one has ever said a negative word about her in person. This is what Angel Reese said in quotes. I get so much love in person. I have never had a negative encounter in person ever. Reese told reporters after the Chicago Sky's loss, which was 85-66 on Tuesday to the New York Liberty, which was basically yesterday of this week. However, from this upload of today, which is June 11th, 2025, the year of our Lord. So, before we watch this clip on X that's in this article, I want to refresh you guys' memory about what she said before when she were entertaining the whole divisive rhetoric of racism. Because if you recall, the WNBA had an investigation, right? The WNBA opened investigation, and I'm about to look it up right now because I like to add the facts. So, the WNBA had its investigation in regards to racist behavior. So, the WNBA is currently investigating, well, not no more, but the WNBA was currently investigating reports of racist fan behavior, which was the league announced on May 18th, my birthday, May 18th, that they were looking into allegations of hateful fan comments made during the Chicago Sky versus Indiana Fever game on May 17th, 2025, right? While the specific targets of the comments were not named by the league, it is believed that they were directed at Sky player Angel Reese, right? So the update is the WNBA announced the results of their investigation on May 27, 2025, stating that they cannot substantiate the reports of racist fan behavior based on information gathered, including audio and video review and interviews with fans, teams, and arena staff. So the conclusion was that there were no racism whatsoever looming around, right? And we'll dive into it deeper with AI for a minute. So the incident occurred during the season, which was the beginning of the season of the WNBA, and multiple reports from racism, multiple reports from players of racist or threatening behavior from fans, which prompted the WNBA to launch its No Space for Hate initiative for the 2025 season. So, with all that being said, now that I'll refresh you guys' memory for what currently took on the time of the investigation, Angel Reese herself entertained the internet and also added her perspective instead of just being professional, playing her game, and letting the league do its thing. But instead, she added her comments. So obviously, she talked about her experience in this game against the Indiana Fever on May 17th, in which she said she experienced racism, right? Check this out.
Obviously, there's no place in this league for that. I think the WNBA, our team and our organization has done a great job supporting me. I've had communication from everyone, from so many people across this league, and being able to support me and going through this whole process. Obviously, it could happen to me, it could happen to anyone, and I think they've done a great job supporting us in this.
How did it affect you Saturday, trying to do your job, trying to play, and having this going on simultaneously?
Yeah, obviously it's tough, but I think I have a great support system. I'm loved by so many people, and obviously in the moment it's hard to hear, but my support system is great. God has protected me in so many different ways. I've gone through so many different things in the past couple of years of my life, but I think just having this support and this love and being a part of an organization that really supports me and loves me is something that I couldn't imagine not being a part of.
What do you think the league's response, just coming out right away and getting that investigation going?
Yeah, obviously, like I said, they understand that this is the priority. Obviously, there's no place for this, and they preach. I think 2 days before they put out no hate, no speech. And obviously, the women in this league, they know that, and know there's no space for that. And I believe that every player in this league deserves to be treated with respect and want to come to work and just have fun and have a great environment to work at. So I think they've done a great job putting that out, and we're obviously just going to respond as they need to.
So what I'm saying is, family, she inserted herself in this whole conversation, even though the WNBA was already investigating for racist remarks towards the players to make sure they combat it and it doesn't spread. Because, however, it's also important to protect the players, but also the fans to make sure it's conducive and having a great environment, because sports is always known to be peaceful and unifying people from all cultures, all walks of life, no matter what race, because the entertainment part of it, let alone the competitiveness and just the excitement around it, right? On the excitement around on who made the best win, right? Because individuals are cheering for their teams and stuff like that. So that was Angel Reese blatantly lying about Indiana fans saying racist things to her as sports media uncritically accepts and broadcasts her lies, and subsequent as investigation reveals it didn't happen, right? So, with that being said, that was that whole rhetoric when it came to Angel Reese, and you have people saying Angel
Obviously, there's no
Reese,
place in this league for that. I
um,
think the WNBA, our team and our
because you remember Angel Reese said that she'll take on the role of a villain any day when it comes towards, versus Caitlin Clark. That whole NCAA thing when she was playing against Caitlin Clark in college, she'll say she'll take the villain role any other day. So people are saying cut it out because Angel Reese has taken the role of villain. She chose that. No one made her. Any criticism is valid and it don't got nothing to do with race, right? So a lot of people are saying you entertained the race rhetoric. You the one that ran into the Victim Olympics. You the one said that you were sexualized. You the one said that you'll take on a villain role. And now people are holding you accountable and holding you to the standard in which you upholded yourself online, on social media, putting yourself out there instead of focusing on your game and just being a professional athlete, upholding professionalism and not being so caught up in saying everything and taking it to the media. But now people have every right to criticize you um appropriately due to the appropriate standard that you upheld yourself by taking on a villain role, saying you were sexualized, running into the Victim Olympics, saying how there is some biasness when it comes to this whole divisive racist rhetoric. Now, this is the update now from Tuesday game, which was yesterday. As you know that I'm doing this video of June 11th, which is today, is uploaded. She has said when the media asked her questions about the game, and Angel Reese said that she gets so much love in person.
For you, Angel, tonight you were extremely efficient, played with a lot of poise and confidence tonight. For all the scrutiny you do receive online and stuff of that nature, what kind of messages a game like this send to them, as well as just the kind of momentum that this can build for you throughout the season?
Yeah, I obviously don't worry about what's going on online. I get so much love in person. I haven't ever had a negative encounter in person ever. And I've been going through this for 3 years. I've never had encounter in person that was negative. So people online are behind the keyboard for a reason, and I don't worry about that stuff. I trust my work. My teammates trust me. And I was telling Miller today, like she felt like she was having a rough day, and I was like, how many times have I had a rough day? And you picked me up. So don't get down on yourself. I know my teammates have my back, my coaches have my back, and that's all that really matters. I don't have to prove anything to anybody but myself and my teammates.
Second row on the left.
Angel, I know tonight was not as you
I'm sorry.
expected.
Can I say something? This is a 23-year-old kid, and the amount of crap that she gets on a day-to-day, and she still shows up. So whatever questions y'all got like about our team, basketball-wise, we appreciate it, but all the other nonsense, like, it's irrelevant. Like, we here to play basketball and do what we do. We having a hard time right now at the end of the day. Just a 23-year-old kid who handles herself with grace. Her crown is heavy. So whatever else, like, y'all want to come at her for the way that she acts, she has to build the wall. She has to have the wall. Because if she doesn't, people will break her down.
Okay. Well, guess what? Her building a wall. She's building a wall. But she's building a wall. Okay, put it like this, because she says she has to build herself. She has to. Well, the simple fact is, no one will have to criticize you if you didn't put so much out. Now, however, we all know that heavy to head wears the crown, because the simple fact is, you are in a pro level league. You're on national TV. This is sports. So, however, you already know the role and the job that you took on when it comes to sports. Before she even got to the WNBA, we already know. However, when you level up in life, you will be the more you level up, the more haters you get, right? No matter if you're a WNBA player, no matter what, when you're leveling up and you're growing in life, there's always going to be someone that have a comment. That's why life is about 99% about how you respond and 1% of how what others say that you can't control. Right? It's 99% about what you do and how you respond and how you react to things. And 1% of what you cannot control, which is the criticism. So everybody in all walks of life, no matter WNBA, no matter what, gets criticism. But you are more prone to be more criticized when you are the most outspoken and saying outlandish things and don't think you're not going to be held accountable, or criticized even much more for that on top of your game. And most people are criticizing Angel Reese for the things that she says more than her game. But she's on national TV, right? She signed up for this. She been getting criticized before she got to the WNBA. She was criticized in college. Shoot, she was criticized whenever she started playing, when she first hit the basketball floor. And I'm speaking from experience, growing up being in the little boys league, and then being in the middle school league, and in the high school league, and playing in the AAA league, the summer league. So what are you talking about? The heavy the head to wear the crown. All greats have been criticized, but it's how you respond. So you come to understand and know that you only can control the things that you can control. But if you feed more rhetoric, if you create more rhetoric, then you'll be more scrutinized for it and held accountable for what you say. So if she knows she has an influence and she has influence, power within her words based on her influence, and let alone being a public figure, be responsible with your privilege of being a public figure. And you already and let's take it a step further. Look how her teammate Ariel is talking about her. She's over here excusing her teammate, and this is the nature of this team, because we already done see Tyler Marsh excuse her from her trash gameplay and not stepping up her game and working on it. Now we got Ariel over here, Atkins over here, calling her a kid. So we already see the sentiment in the locker room that they're accusing her, because they're excusing her, I should say, and allowing enabling actions by lacking in her gameplay, being able to say things and people not going to hold her accountable for it because she's a kid. She's a young woman. She's a grown woman, okay? And when much more blessings are given, and the much more you level up and you get blessed, the more responsibility. More is giving. Much more responsibility is to which much more is giving. Okay? So I'm not about to go for that. But anyway, Her game, last night game, yesterday game, was one of her best statistical performances of the season because she had 17 points and 8 out of 13 shooting, 11 rebounds. We all know that she's a pro when it comes to rebounds. But Reese, sitting down for this post game interview, the question was handling online criticism, right? Her response, she don't worry about the people and what's going on online. But hold on for a second. Never had a negative encounter in person ever. Really? Because it gets sticky when just last month, like I mentioned earlier in this video, Reese claimed a fan yelled racist slurs at her while she shot free throws. Last June, she said Caitlin Clark fan blocked her from entering the hotel while calling her a racial slur. The WNBA opened formal investigations on both claims in both cases, and they found no supporting evidence. In fact, video footage of the hotel incident showed a man calmly asking if they'll apologize to Caitlin Clark after a hard foul. No shouting, no slurs. So which is it? Never had a negative encounter in person or multiple racial related confrontations that made national news? Because look, this isn't about disliking Angel Reese. She's talented, she's marketable, she has a gift, she's a blessing to the world just like everybody else and brings attention to the WNBA, which frankly needs personalities like hers. But here's the problem. Credibility matters. You can't keep crying wolf, then on a hot mic say it never actually happened. Because let's keep it real. Either she exaggerated or misrepresented those past incidents, or she just downplayed real experiences for a soundbite. Neither looks good. So the truth is, sports stars get criticized every single day. LeBron James has been booed, cursed out, labeled everything from a flopper to a fraud. Tom Brady got called a cheater for half a decade. Kobe, MJ, Serena Williams, Steph Curry, all of them were dragged online and in person. Being criticized is not oppression, okay? Shaquille O'Neal, the individual that she's working with when it comes to Reebok, right? Because Shaquille O'Neal is trying to revamp Reebok and bring Reebok back out. He been scrutinized. It's the cost of being famous in sports. If WNBA players want the big time spotlight, it comes with the big time scrutiny. The problem is every time someone asks Angel Reese or every time someone questions Angel Reese or Kaden Clark or anyone in the league, we hear the same things. You're being racist. You're being sexist. You're being unfair. Let me ask you a deeper question, family. Let me know down in the comments to substantiate my point. She has just as much spotlight as Caitlin Clark, but Caitlin Clark has even more because she respected for her pure dog, the pure grit that she have on just her focusing on the game, which us sport fans want to see. We don't want to see all this nonsense for the players and all the scrutiny and all that. We want to criticize them for their game, which is their job and their job performance. None of that other things. She welcomes that to the people by mentioning all these other things that she is getting criticized for because due to how she carry herself and due to how she operate and due to her being unprofessional, because no matter when she on the court and off the court, she still represents the WNBA franchise. If you want to be technical, I was taught in high school at my college prep high school that you represent the high school on the campus and off the campus, and you're a reflection of the school. It's the same thing. You're a reflection of your company. Being a cultural fit is a thing, right? So let's just be realistic here. This is her job. Caitlin Clark doesn't get as much scrutiny or racial rhetoric doesn't really come her way. But the simple fact is because she don't operate herself or allow herself to have that type of dialogue, she just focuses on her game is my point. Now, we're holding professional athletes accountable, just like we do every other game. When Caitlin Clark was doing all them turnovers, we was holding her accountable. The WNBA is growing fat. Last season, when Caitlin Clark had all them turnovers, the WNBA we know is growing, right? Fast. Ratings are up. Ticket sales are up. Right now, it's down because Caitlin Clark is injured. Jersey sales, they're going through the roof. They building up like ever before. But the league can't afford false controversies or fabricated victimhood, aka victim Olympics. It undermines real issues when they do happen and make casual fans tune out. Angel Reese has the chance to be a generational figure in women's basketball, but she's got to choose a lane. stay in it, and stick in it. Pick a side and stand on it. Either be a mature, vocal leader with thick skin or keep flipping the narrative to play victim and superstar. You can be both. So, to my community, to my family here watching this, don't get distracted by the noise. Let's demand the same thing from all athletes: truth, consistency, and accountability. And Angel Reese just handled the media, just handed the media a contradiction. Let's see who actually calls it out. Like this video if you're tired of the double standards in sports. Drop a comment. Do you think Angel Reese slipped up, or is this just media overreach? Hit the subscribe button, turn the post notifications bell on, because we bring you logic back to sports talk. Peace, power, and perspective. I'm out, family. Peace.